Oh, hi. I'm Jen, and welcome to my vlog space. And today I wanted to talk to you about something that I'm seeing a lot of dancers and dance teachers talk about. And it's honestly something I never thought I would ever talk about like 20 years ago. It's just not something that I thought was going to be part of our everyday lives, as dancers and dance teachers and people who take class. But taking class in the digital age, it's different, isn't it? Um, I follow this guy on Instagram. His Instagram account is Back to Great, I think. He's phenomenal. I love him. He's an older dancer like me, and he's now getting back into dancing after taking a long break. And it's his, going through how different dance is, like the culture, what's valued, what's not valued. And it's like a lot of what it's like to take class right now. And I've been taking a lot of classes lately, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, why don't you go to this one place with me? I love their classes." And I'm like, "The classes are fun, but it's the end part that kind of makes me hesitant to go take class there." And that's part of what I wanted to talk about. So, especially for older dancers, this new digital age of taking class is so different. I don't mean like Zoom. Obviously that was not the most ideal dance class situation, but the fact that we had it and still have it is kind of cool. Like when we were shut away from the rest of the world, we could still have class. We could still see our friends and dance in spaces and just keep learning and growing as dancers. That was phenomenal, okay? And like the fact that it's still around and I get to take class from my friend Anthony all the time, even though he lives in New York and I live in Florida, or I get to take class with like all these people that are on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram and all of these greats from tap festivals around the world. I got to do a virtual class with Chloe Arnold once. Like that's just so cool, y'all. I love that. I love that addition to bringing digital to the dance classroom. That is so cool. I wanted to talk to you about like the pros and the cons of taking class in the digital age. And this is from a student's perspective, but also from a teacher's perspective. So let's start with the positive, like I just did. Zoom classes have been great. The ability to, let's just start with like the obvious pro. Free classes on YouTube, right? Shameless plug. That was a shameless plug, but it is okay because I'm not the only one who offers that. But like, think about this. 20 years ago, I didn't have a teacher. Or was that 30 years ago? It was 20 years ago. I didn't have a teacher. And I reached out to two of my former teachers and I was like, "Hey, I don't have a teacher right now. I'm in college. There's nobody that can teach me here. What can I do to keep learning?" And they sent me DVDs. And once I got through those DVDs, that was it. Like I just had to keep doing those DVDs and kind of trying to grow from there until I was able to get out and take class again. As a broke college student in a very, very small town, that was everything that saved me as a tap dancer. And I'm so grateful. And that's why I have this channel. But if I had access to channels like mine and United Taps and all these other channels that put out tap dance tutorials like all the time, oh man, that would have been so cool. So definitely like the biggest pro is access. The biggest pro of the digital age of dance is access to classes. Think about CLI Conservatory, how many people you get to take class from if you're a member, and you can just access their full online like portfolio of classes, and all of these wonderful tap teachers and jazz teachers and ballet teachers that do like Zoom classes either for donation or a fee. But like think about the fact that you can take class from these people that you'd normally have to travel all the way around the world just to be able to go take one festival class from them. That's just so cool. The ease of access is worth any of the cons that I present, for sure. And then there's like if you're in a class and they're filming in class, that's part of what I'm going to talk about in the con section more, but there is a pro to that. The pro of having like a section of the class where you like, all right, the last 15 minutes of class, we're going to basically just be in groups and filming the dance. And I'll talk about why that's frustrating later, but right now I want to focus on the good part. Sorry, Bento decided to scream. I want to focus on the good part, which is that you can have filmed choreography to practice with. And if you have a good run and you get a good video of it from class, that's perfect for your dance reel or just to post online, just for like building up your online presence. And there's a lot of pros to getting good video from class, and also like collaborating with the different dancers that you're in the group with. You know, there are good parts to that. You might see Bento's tail show up in a second. No? Too low? Okay. Oh, there it is. He decided to hang out with me. So yeah, that's the pro of having that moment where you film in class. The downside of that is part of the reason that I get so much anxiety about going to classes that are doing that, and it's the pressure. I kind of just want to take a class, you know? Like, I kind of just want to go and take a class, and maybe I don't want to, like, dress up. Maybe I don't want to look camera ready. Maybe I'm ready to get sweaty, you know? And I'm ready to just dive in and do my best and struggle with the choreography because maybe I decided, Bento, stop ruining things. Maybe I decided to take a class that was like out of my comfort zone, but then they're going to spend the last 15 minutes of class putting us in groups and filming us with like the camera guy zooming in and stuff. Like it's crazy. If you've never taken a class like that, it's absolutely crazy. It's super fun, but it's absolutely crazy. I find that classes for me, I want them to be for learning, to practice, to perfect performance, like in myself, but not practice performing for a camera with like a 5-minute, all right, you're next, let's go, let's make it perfect. And what if you mess up and those dancers don't get a good video because you messed up, or you had a perfect take, but the dancer next to you messed up, so you don't get a good video out of it. And there's just so much pressure there, and I don't want to bring that pressure to class. Class should be fun, and the only pressure in class, in my opinion, should be the pressure I put on myself to improve at least 1% every single class. So for me, the filming part is just too stressful, and I don't personally like it, but I do see that it has benefits. Like I said, getting a video for your reel, practicing performing in front of a camera, having something to put online. I totally understand. And again, the other con that I mentioned earlier that I kind of just breezed over it, but like, do we all want to look camera ready when we go take a class? Because I just kind of want to take this massive mess of hair, throw it up in a ponytail, and I want to leave that class red in the face, drenched in sweat, looking like I just took like 5 crit, or is it crit or hit? Some kind of like high intensity training or something. Class. I want to look like I just got out of the gym and worked out real hard. But if I need to be camera ready at the end of class, like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I would like the video. I don't know if I would want to post the video where I maybe killed the dance, but I look a hot mess. Maybe that's not really going to be good for my reel, you know? So there's the pressure of looking good and wearing like a certain type of outfit, or maybe I just wanted to wear baggy pants and a big t-shirt and didn't really want to do my hair that day, but oh no, they're going to film at the end of class. So now I got to wear like my cute little Lululemon set and make sure my hair's done, make sure if I did makeup, if I had any on, you know. It's just a lot of pressure when all I really wanted to do was train. And that to me is why I get so apprehensive to go to these classes, because instead of just focusing on, okay, I'm going to take a class, I'm going to get better at my craft, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do something good for myself. It's now, oh man, what if I don't get picked for this group? What if I don't look good? What if my outfit's wrong? It's so much pressure, and I feel like that's just not something I want to add to my class. Then being called to groups at the end of class, this is another like stressful situation for me. Anybody else feel like kind of pressure to be so good in class that you get called into like the groups that do like the big filming moments, or that you want to show how good you are so that they put you in the front of your group and stuff? That's a lot of pressure, isn't it? To like spend the whole class trying to get the combo so perfect, or at least perfect enough that you look good, and then you got to dance it full out every single time. And which you should be dancing full out, but maybe you want to focus a little bit more on like, all right, when I do my pirouette, is my passe going exactly where I want it to go, rather than did my facial expression do exactly what I wanted it to, instead of focusing on like the dance element, you know? or the feeling of being left out. Like, sorry, I had to adjust. The feeling of being left out of a group. I have been in a class situation before where I I was picked for a group in a class that I felt like I should not have been picked because I'd never done that style before, but I guess when I dance full out, and I guess at that time it was like, I don't know. Oh yeah, you danced this really really well. I know I didn't dance it that well. I just danced it full out. But other people that danced it really really well weren't picked, and I know that they were disappointed. And so I felt guilty at being picked, but I've also been the person that like didn't get picked for a group, and that doesn't feel great either. So you should leave classes feeling like you learned something, feeling like it was a positive experience, feeling like you connected with the teacher and then the other classmates. You shouldn't leave a class feeling like, well, I guess I wasn't good enough today. I mean, you could leave an audition feeling that way. We've all left an audition feeling that way. An audition that either doesn't go well or maybe you just didn't fit the part. But you shouldn't leave a class feeling like that. At a studio I used to teach at, there was a teacher that like she then went on to teach at like Millennium Dance Complex, where they do these kind of like class formats where they have the video session at the end. So this was kind of more her style, and she would film the kids at the end of class. And there was this one girl, she was always left out of the video. And the girl came to me once, she's like, am I just not good? Because she never wants to use me in her videos. And regardless of the teacher's reason, like the fact that she wasn't picked for these groups like more often than not, and it made her feel like maybe she just wasn't a good dancer, that kind of broke my heart a little bit. And to be honest, she's one of the most stunning dancers I've ever watched. I don't know what the teacher was looking for these videos. Maybe she was too tall and stood out. I don't know. But I just feel like whether you're a kid or you're an adult, you shouldn't focus so much on, I hope I get picked for the video at the end of class, versus like, I hope I do well in class. I hope I grow as a dancer. And I feel like it just puts too much unnecessary focus and unnecessary pressure on how well you execute the combo at the end of class and how you look doing it versus what you're actually achieving in class. And that guy I follow on Instagram, the @backtogreat, I'm pretty sure like he has the same sentiment that I do, and he takes these classes and he's like, he makes videos about how like what's going through his mind when this stuff is happening, or like how he wishes class weren't like this anymore. And like I said, I see the benefit, but personally, I feel like it's too much pressure. So class in the digital age has become so much more accessible, but full of so much more pressure. And also, in addition to pressure, there's something else about these classes that kind of just like bugs me on a fundamental level. There's usually about 15 to 30 minutes reserved at the end of a class. Like let's say it's a 2-hour class. I've taken classes at places that do this. They reserve like 15 to 30 minutes at the end of the class. If it's a 2-hour class, it's usually a 30-minute block. If it's an hour and a half class, it's usually a 15-minute block. That's reserved for filming. And it's like, cool. But I paid the money for this class, and I would prefer to get all 2 hours of instruction rather than, okay, I'll practice it on the side while this group gets filmed, and hopefully that goes well so that they only have to do one take. And then so you end up like the last 30 minutes is like a video shoot, which if you've ever done a video shoot, you're kind of just standing in the corner for most of it until it's your turn. And then you really, really hope you get it right, because they're not going to let you do it a million times. So like hopefully you're practicing when you're in the corner, but like, I don't know, if I wanted to just practice the combination on my own without any like feedback, I could do that at home. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm being rude about it. If I'm being rude about it, please tell me. But to spend the last like 15 to 30 minutes of a class that I paid for, like time-wise, filming groups, I'm not sure I love it. If you take a class, they should at least tell you, and I think that they do. I think that most places do, or at least should, tell you it, like how much of the class is being used to film, and maybe you could like opt in to doing that. Like say, oh, do you want to pay the extra $10 to be part of the filming session at class? Dude, that'd be amazing if studios did that. If they do, that's great. Please tell me if I'm getting this like all wrong. 'Cause I haven't taken class at a place like Millennium Dance Complex or any of those really, really cool places, but there are places around here that are like that. If you can opt into that part and pay extra for that part, that would be great because that allows people to not have to pay for that time if they don't want to use it that way. And it allows people to still get that if that's something that they want to get out of class. So let me know your thoughts on that. It's a relatively new thing for me and the world of dance. And it's been something that I've been thinking about because all my friends are like, come take class with me at this one place. And I'm like, that's the place that films for 30 minutes after class. I don't know. Like, that's a lot of pressure. I just want to have fun. I just want to grow. I want to take a ballet class and leave there feeling like every muscle hurts and I'm sweaty, you know? Although I don't think that they film ballet combinations, but you know what I mean. But yeah, those are my thoughts on dance in the digital age. I love the accessibility. I love the fact that we can share our craft with each other, whether it's that we film ourselves and then post it and then somebody goes, oh, I love that combo. And then you guys like TikTok dances, right? Like the world of hip hop has become TikTok dances, like hip hop and like jazz funk and stuff. And we can share with each other. We can all do the same dances via the internet. Like that is so cool. I love the accessibility. I love the ability to connect with each other digitally and share. I love the fact that I can make this vlog and it reaches a bunch of you. And I love the fact that I can share my choreography and teaching with so many of you that I've never met in person and you're all over the world. The digital age is everything for dance. I'm just not sure about how some classes are structuring themselves, how that jives with what I want to get out of a class. The pressure that it puts on me or other dancers that feel the same as me when you take a class to like be so perfect. It's a class. I always tell my students, I'm like, this is not the room where you're supposed to be perfect. This is the room where you're supposed to mess up. Feel free to mess up in here. The stage, on the other hand, that's not a place that you want to mess up. That's not a place that you want to feel comfortable messing up. Like, it's okay if you do. It's not the end of the world, but maybe save your perfect for the stage. This room right here, this classroom, this is where you can make mistakes. This is where you can fail at things. This is where you can fall on your face, get up, and try again. And hopefully you didn't get hurt. But the classroom should be the place where you feel comfortable failing, because you have to fail at things before you can get better. Unless you're like, you know, one of those people, it's like you instantly get the one move and everyone goes, oh my God, that was so great. And then you'll like have trouble with the next one. But you know what I mean? Like the classroom, in my opinion, is a place that you should feel comfortable being messy, being like messy, like aesthetically, but also like messy in technique if you're still working to get cleaner technique. It doesn't need to be clean yet. But if you're going to film me at the end of class, boy, it better. Like in my, like for my own perfectionist standards, I better be perfect at this combination. And if you're taking a class where at the end of the class, you're doing the combination perfectly after only an hour, I don't think that was a hard enough class for you. Like maybe it was fun, and those are important classes to take. And maybe take those classes at like a low enough level that you're going to get it perfect. And then go take the harder class and maybe skip the video just to challenge yourself. There's so many different ways we can do this, but I just wanted to give you my very disorganized thoughts on this. Please, please, please tell me in the comments how you feel about everything that I just said, how you feel about the filming at the end of class, the digital age of dance, the accessibility of classes, of choreography. Tell me if you know of any downsides to the accessibility. Is there a downside to putting your choreography on YouTube? I know that there is at least one. It's one I've struggled with. It's the, what if people steal your choreography? So I have my little like disclaimer in the description that says, this choreography is property of me. If you want to use it for something, please email me and ask. Anyone on this channel who has ever emailed me to ask, I get back to you pretty much right away. Most of the time the answer is yes, that you can use it depending on what it's for. Like if you want to use it for a competition, it's a little tricky. But if you want to use it for like a showcase or something, I usually say yes. The only time it gets really, really tricky is if I taught a piece of my company rep. Then it gets a little dicey and we have to talk it out. But do people read that disclaimer? I'll tell you firsthand, sometimes they don't. I've been at a competition and I've heard a song I've choreographed to. And then I start hearing the taps and I go, oh, that's my choreography. and I can just recognize it. I go out on stage and I start doing it, and I'm like, oh, that's my choreography. This person used my choreography without my permission. And that's when it gets a little stressful for me. It gets a little tricky. We start having like conversations that I don't like to have because I do believe that everyone has good intentions. But overall, like, yeah, that's a danger. Is there another danger that you can think of sharing choreography or tutorials or anything like that? Is there a danger to Zoom classes, the accessibility that way? Not a danger, but is there a downside? Let me know your thoughts on that. And let me know how you feel about filming in class, because I right now am mostly not a fan, but things have the tendency to grow on me. Maybe I will be a fan. I was taking classes where we filmed at the end of class, but it was for anyone who wanted to stay after. It was pretty casual. It was, oh yeah, let's just try to film this real quick. And if the video came out good, we posted it, or, you know, it was used as promotional material, but it was never like, okay, we're in the filming session of class, everybody, here's your groups. And it wasn't like, there wasn't any pressure on it. It was just like, hey, you guys want to film it real quick just to save it? It's like, yeah, I feel good about it. Let's go ahead and film it. So anyway, those again are my disorganized thoughts. And this is Bento walking in circles around my camera. He's literally just doing the thing. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me for this vlog. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button and join the TAP fam. We have vlogs like this, technique exercises, step tutorials, choreography tutorials, challenges, all kinds of stuff on this channel. It's all free and it's all for you. Thank you to the digital age. And the best way of supporting my channel and the best way of accessing all of this free material is to subscribe. So please hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the thumbs up, because thumbs up is good and it tells YouTube that people like tap dance and people like videos about tap dance. So definitely hit that thumbs up. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, thank you for dancing with me.